Good evening, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are watching us from. This is Global Leadership Group. Once every month, we look for creme de la creme guest speakers to come and share their rich experience, rich knowledge on how we can build capacities of our leaders. You know, our vision and mission all talks about capacity building of leaders. This is what we are mainly about. So this evening, I'll go straight to the point. For our guest speakers, we have four special gurus. I'll start from the first person. We have Dr. Victor Abe. Dr. Victor Abe is a strategic corporate leadership and change management consultant. He's a mentor, public speaker, and author with in-depth knowledge, understanding and experience in diverse corporate operational environments and perspective, including security, supply chain, manufacturing, oil and gas industries, etc. This spans over 20 years. He's a distinguished veteran military leader and currently the chief servant and managing partner of V5 Solutions Limited and FV Global Consult, respectively. He's a reverend professional with keen interest in focus in building the leadership capacity of businesses and individuals on the African continent. His works over the years have been largely aimed at promoting and creating the right environment for sustainable development and growth on the African continent through accountable governance and teamwork. He's known for his mentorship and coaching of many business leaders, both young and old, on good corporate governance and strategic leadership across the continent through his weekly Leadership 360 TV program. This is a live and interactive leadership strategy and change management education TV program. Dr. Abe is the author of the book FinUCA World and the Future of Corporate Strategy and Leadership, published and launched in 2021 and described by many as a masterpiece and a corporate strategic leadership tool. Dr. Abe holds a doctorate degree in business administration, a master's degree in applied business research, and certificates in entrepreneurship and innovation from SBS Swiss Business School, Zurich, Switzerland, an executive MBA from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST, Ghana, and a degree in archaeology and philosophy from the University of Ghana, certificate in project management from the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration. Dr. Abe, you are welcome. Hello.
Thank you very much, and I'm grateful for such an elaborate introduction of myself. I didn't expect that, but that is okay. It's very humbling. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir. And the next, I'm introducing them in no particular order. Okay. So our next is our beautiful madam. Her name is Madame Melody Uba. She's a seasoned bilingual solution sales consultant with over 10 years of experience in delivering technology solutions across the financial and IT sections within West and Central Africa. She has a proven track record of closing multi-million dollar deals and building strong, lasting relationships with business leaders and stakeholders. Awarded the CEO Sales Award and Salesman of the Year, Melody excels in identifying client needs and aligning them with tailored IT products and services. Her expertise spans sales forecasting, multi-region strategies, and key account management. She has strong focus on business development, partnership engagement, and driving revenue growth while reducing organizational spend. Melody's success is built on collaborating with cross functional teams to deliver exceptional service, customer retention, and satisfaction. Outside of work, she enjoys reading, spending quality time with family, and experimenting with new recipes. Wow, that's wonderful. Madam Melody, you are warmly welcomed.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My family, of course, they are the ones that suffer,
Oh,
but
I
let us
know,
all enjoy.
I know, I know.
Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you for having me.
welcome,
Thank you.
welcome. So our third um, guest speaker is Mr. Christian Sinclair. He is a banking professional with over a decade industry experience. His professional experience spans across central operations, branch operations, customer banking, customer experience, hospitality management, and people management. His passion for excellent service delivery spurred him to be part of the pioneering team for Consolidated Bank's Ghana's Customer Experience Department. He currently serves as the unit head of the Service Operations Unit, whose major mandate is to ensure excellent service delivery across the bank. Christian is also the lead consultant for MECRIS, MECRIS Consults and Customer Service Ghana. Christian is an ordained Baptist minister, currently serving as the pastor in charge of Christian education, music, and media at Lifeway Community Baptist Church, East Legon. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Human Resource Management, Commonwealth Executive MBA, Master of Arts in Ministry, and is an IFC World Bank certified trainer. He is married to Mrs. Sinclair, and they are blessed with three children, Aaron, Judah, and Samantha. Mr. Christian, you are welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Okay,
so much.
okay. So we have our next as Mr. Daniel Insian. Daniel is self-motivated and disciplined project banking marketing specialist with over 10 years experience with high-end corporate clients, with working with high-end corporate clients. He enjoys managing business portfolios with proven interpersonal negotiation and communication skills. He's a highly articulate and confident, persuasive, team-oriented professional with a motivation to achieve exceptional business performance, dependable and reliable in supporting and enabling team efforts to produce genuine long-term sustainable development. I love that. He holds, for his professional experience, he holds a project management and product development certification. Um, he has a Bachelor of Law from Wisconsin University in Ghana. He has a Master of Science in Project Management from University of Cape Coast, Bachelor of Business Administration from Valley View University in Ghana. You are welcome, Mr. Daniel Lucian.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm grateful to be here.
Okay. So now that we have introduced our guest speakers, you can see that they are all groups. So they're going to help us understand our topic and we are going to learn from them so that our capacities as leaders will be, will be enhanced so that we can also get to their level anytime soon. So our topic for discussion this evening is leadership and mental health. Leadership and mental health. So my first question goes to Mr. Daniel Insiam. Please, Can you share a moment in your leadership journey where mental health became a key focus for you?
Thank you so much. Happy for having us, and then also the whole team. I'm most grateful and humbled. Your question is very, very important, because in my journey to becoming a leader, I've had a couple of incidences that have actually challenged me, and then um, brought me to a point where I had to think about mental health. So along the line, I lost someone very close to me, and at that point, my job, that's my previous employer, had posted me to a different station, and virtually I was climbing the ladder to become an operational head for maybe a branch. And at that point where I lost that person, it really, really affected my mental health, in that I wasn't able to think straight, even at work. Um, Sometimes there were days where I had to even shout on some people or some colleagues of mine at work because of whatever I was going through. It was a difficult moment for me as an individual. And also, I noticed with hindsight that I affected a lot of people within that period. People who were close to me, people I would regard as friends, had to move away a bit from me, and that was a key point for me to consider as a point where my mental health was key to my progress in my professional career, and even in my social environment as well, because that moment affected me quite a lot. I tend to move away from people. I didn't want to associate myself with people I would normally associate myself with, even for social gatherings and all that. So that particular moment of my life actually brought my attention to the need to be mindful of mental health moving forward, and also with regards to you becoming a leader, how to handle yourself in such situations, and how to handle people when you are also in a particular situation that affects your mental sanity or your mental health. So that's what I would say at the moment on that score. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Daniel. Thank you so much. So my next question goes to Madame Melody. How do you manage your own mental health while leading others in high pressure environments?
I learned the hard way. And yes, I learned the hard way because I felt I could juggle everything. I'm talking work. I know the sales environment is a very high pressure environment
Yeah.
until I became ill. And that was for me my turning point. I had to take a break. In fact, it was my line manager that insisted that I must take a break. You're coming, in his words, you're just coming from a major operation. You should go on leave. Like I was ill, I didn't even know it was stress, sincerely. I just felt okay, just a couple of, and the guy's like, no, Melody, you've been in this project, you're bound to break down. Just take a break. And he forced me to go on 2 weeks break. And since that time, I learned my lesson. So what I do is I delegate. Number two, when I see when I see that my energy is waning, I just take a break. Even if it's just one day, no screen, no phone, nothing, not talking to anybody work related. I just do it. And I think that was where the passion for trying new things came up, because I wanted something away from that didn't require me, work or thinking about work. And that was why the recipe thing just came up. It's something I could just, it was light. I didn't have to stress too much or think too much or get involved in so much discussions on it. It's just me, myself in the kitchen, and that's how it's been working for me. I just pause, take a break. Some people call it Shabbat, some people just call it whatever they call it. For me, it's 1 day, 2 days, I just go off. I delegate and I go off. So that's how I've been able to manage so far.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I've also learned something from there, like you deciding to take the break, a little break. And I like the fact that your manager or your supervisor told you and insisted that you should take the break, a little break, so that you'll be able to come back to work fresh. Because if you don't have that relief, sometimes it can even affect productivity. So it was a good thing. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, Mr. Christian, what mental health challenges have you faced as a leader, and how did you overcome them, please?
Okay, so
Mhm.
I think for me, practically, it's not just a one-time thing, but it's almost like a daily or weekly ordeal,
Yeah.
especially where you have to swing in terms of managing different genders, different temperaments. Um, so if I would isolate one of the experiences, um, I would say that um, it had to do with leadership, a major leadership change within my team, in fact, within my department. And it required that there were certain very hard decisions to be taken. And it was quite a very difficult one. And I remember that one of the things that helped was things like emotional intelligence, trying to um, um, understand the situation. I mean, one thing I've learned with emotional intelligence is accept what the situation is. And that's one thing that helped to know that, okay, this is the reality. And then number two, to be able to find how I'm able to navigate around it practically. And um, I think number three also, as a leader, has been getting to know my my team members. When I say getting to know, beyond just this person reporting to work, beginning to zoom into things like, because when we talk about mental health, a lot of things connect, like I mentioned earlier, their temperaments, their moods. I mean, I've learned one of them. I hope the usually I jokingly say the women fellowship will not take me on, the end of month saga, when you have ladies working with you. And so that zooming in has helped me to be able to know that, okay, this is the current state of this person, and this is how so I'm able to know how to manage um, around the situation. So because whatever happens within the team eventually also impacts my mental health as well. So generally and in summarily, that has been um, the ways to navigate around it in my journey as a leader. Yeah.
Thank you. So from what you're saying, it means you were able to handle that because you tried to get to know them beyond they reporting to you. So, like, how did you do that? If you could give us maybe one or two examples to
Okay,
clarify.
so I think that I was blessed very early in my career to be acquainted with temperaments, and I realized that um, sometimes people trivialize temperaments, but it really, gets to let you know the, I'll call them, mental situations of different individuals within the group, because there are people who, like you pick a typical sanguine, and situations that should look very alarming, they're able to joke their way around it. So once you join my team, one of the things I intentionally do is wanting to know, trying to, as a leader, identify what is the temperament of this person. I think another thing I've also enjoyed is knowing the capacity, because within a team, there are people who, again, you find people are pessimistic, optimistic. These are different kinds of people, and those expressions eventually affect or impact the 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 mental situation or the well-being of the entire team, and even for me as a leader. So that has been in terms of knowing them. Additionally, I'll talk about social skills. So usually the emphasis is on things like professionalism, and professionalism sometimes says, when if it's work, let it be work, and that's it. But there is that bit of again connecting to the personal lives of the individuals. Recently I was faced with one like that. The person came to work and I could see that her mood was not right. Something was not, but I can say as a leader, all I need is give me the memo, produce this, produce that. No, but I try to do, like I say, it's a daily thing. Sometimes we have to go all the way to counseling, trying to know. Then you are able to really explore the, managing the mental well-being of employees and myself as well, because it impacts me. So there's a lot I can share, but I hope this just this little will help us. Yes, it's bringing me a lot of memories. Yeah, yeah.
I can see that. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Christian.
Yeah.
So my next question goes to Mr. Victor. Mr. Victor, how can leaders create a workplace culture that prioritizes mental health and well-being?
All right, thank you very much. This is a great topic we are discussing, and I'm excited that the previous the panelists put it in the right perspective. It's talking about delegation, emotional intelligence, and all that. Creating the right environment boils down to possessing the right leadership skills, some of which some of the panelists have mentioned, critical among them being emotional intelligence. Now, if a leader possesses emotional intelligence, which has to do with, self-awareness, self-regulation, having empathy, and having those social awareness to build social relationships, the leader will be able to appreciate the capacity or the capability, the mood, the emotions of every single person within the, the environment where he works, the impact of his own attitude or actions on the rest of the team members as well, and be able to regulate those actions or inactions so as to enlist the trust of the workers within that environment. So positive or progressive culture within the environment boils down to the leader's own attitude. Somebody said once that the team is as good as the leader, or the leader is as good as the team. So the behavior put up by the leader more often than not define the culture within the workspace. I'll give you a typical example of mine, where I, as a young, a tender age of 25 or so, was placed in charge of people who were older than me. That's when I commissioned from within the army as a military officer to go to operation outside the shores of Ghana. These were people who have spent over so many years, some 20 years on the job, and they are within the team. You are the leader. What do? You need to tap into the training you have received and try to also tap into the experiences to appreciate the resources you have, the experiences you have, and how each and every one of them behave, or what their character and emotions are. And based on that, you know when to deploy who at any point in time. With that alone, everybody appreciates, his or her contribution to the team, or your involvement of each one of them in the team, because you'll be in a better position to appreciate what everybody comes on board. Because it's a continuous discussion, at this point, what I want to say is that one of the key foundations of building the right culture within the workspace has to do with the leader's own appreciation of his personal emotions and that of others, and be able to build, in fact, identify the potentials within everybody and harness those potentials towards the right channels, and ensure that continuously he or she monitors the space and be able to, alter or otherwise as the journey goes on. That is when everybody will feel appreciated coming to work and going back home every day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. In fact, it is very true. Really, 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 really true. Very true. Thank you so much. So my next question goes to Mr. Daniel. What specific initiatives or policies have you implemented to support mental health in your organization?
Okay, so kindly pardon me. I think I've had an emergency, so my pictures will not be so clear. But I hope you can see my face, and maybe you can see
Yes,
my white teeth showing.
yes, please.
Okay,
Yes, please.
so yeah, so picking up from where Doc and the rest of our esteemed panelists ended, one thing I would say is that in my current environment, I have initiated an open door policy where every individual in my team who is not so well mentally on a particular day will be able to come to me, talk to me about it, and then we'll see the way forward. What I notice is that most people would keep these ills to themselves at the workplace. And at the end of the day, what you realize is that you don't have the productivity levels you expect to have on a given day. And it doesn't make the work progressive enough. So I noticed that I approached a couple of people in my team. We spoke about it. I opened my doors. I told them that, hey, if you get up in the morning and you know you won't be able to come in very early because of one or two reasons, just send myself a message. I'll forward it to our overall boss, and we can give you some time to come in. At least that alone helps the individuals in the organization or under me in my team to have a certain level of confidence and trust in the leadership that we understand whatever they are going through at a particular point in time. Because if that is not done, as I said earlier, the productivity levels you expect each individuals to give, you won't get it at the workplace or at the end of the day. So we run projects, and projects are basically on timelines. If one person is not feeling well, the person comes to work. Mentally, there's something on the person's mind you don't even know about. How are you expecting that person or that team member to communicate very well or as is expected with other stakeholders on the project to elicit whatever information we need, or even at certain points, approvals? The person might not. And you know that with projects, it's basically about communication. It's basically about having a team spirit. It's basically about understanding what each stakeholder wants on a particular project. And without the team member or the project lead on that particular project having an open mind, and also the willingness to talk, the willingness to engage people, you won't achieve whatever you want to achieve on a project. By that, prolonging the project, delaying the project, running or on cost or over the cost, and eventually the organization not realizing the potential profits that it seeks to achieve at the end of that particular project. So one basic thing, as I said earlier, is about giving every member on the team the opportunity to speak to management. That is team leads. to speak to people in heads of the departments to tell them what their needs are at a particular point in time so that we can address it and then move forward as a team. So that initiative, I think, has really helped. You get up in the morning, you see some messages. Yes. Others might say that people would take advantage of that and all that. My issue is that if the person comes in and is not providing what you expect the person to provide, what benefits would that be to you and to the team in general? If the person comes in all merry, all happy, and is willing to work for the team for the particular project, then you make a very good case for why you should allow people to come to you, to open up to you, to trust you as the leader, so that they make sure that whatever they tell you at the end of the day, you take it in good faith. You're building upon a good mental health for them so that they can make the organization proud at the end of the day. So that policy, I think, is really helping, and we are reaping the benefits. We are reaping the benefits of it. That's what I can say at the moment. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So my next question goes to Lady Melody. So please, how do you balance maintaining high performance standards with ensuring your team's mental health doesn't suffer?
Thank you. It's dicey looking
Yeah.
at it, but is it workable? The answer is yes, it is. So what we need to do is to be realistic, which is what we are doing. And probably because working sales background and I'm still managing sales people, maybe that's why it makes it easier. We do not always have to, in fact, with the way things are in the economy now, you don't have to come to the office. So we already have our defined KPIs. You know the expectation for each quarter. In fact, you know the expectation for the year, which is broken down per quarter. So you know the expectation for Q1. So what we are looking at is not you coming into the office every day. It is at the end of the day, results. At the end of the week, what did you achieve? If you are able to achieve this within, let's say, 16-hour work week, wonderful. If you're able to achieve it within a 20-hour work week, wonderful. So what we've done is, with the way things are, the stress of to coming, leaving your house early in the morning, and then you're returning back late at night, it's a lot. So you have the hybrid. You have the hybrid option where you work from home. You can from your home directly go see your customer, and have that discussion with your customer and send in your report. If we need to have a physical meeting, we show up. Now, what else we've also done is automation. You already have, this is 2024. We are not saying that we have left Excel, but we have CRM tools, we have sales tools, we have communication tools. In fact, I think WhatsApp is the lowest form of communication, if you ask me, not even an email. It's easy. So all you have to do is, especially when you go for your meetings, you have your AI note taker. So when your meeting is on, activate the AI note taker. It takes your minutes of meeting, and as the meeting is off, it prepares that minutes of meeting and sends it to everyone. So I don't have to chase, and nobody has to chase that salesperson. So all I need to do is I can just go through that calendar. I say, okay, what did you guys do today? For all your meetings scheduled, I can see your calendar. I can see, what's been happening, and then even the reports. So that's way you have reduced the stress. I don't like to use the word manual labor, but really that's what it is. You have taken that off. So the salesperson knows that he doesn't have to get up by 5 a.m. to begin to hustle the road. He can get up by 7, by 8, and by 9, he's seated in front of his system. If he has to go to a customer, he can plan himself well, goes to the customer, and he's back. So what we've done is we are not rigid. You can work from home, you can work from the office, but all we want is results. I will not micromanage you. I will not come and say, okay, today is Monday. What did you do today? What did you do on Tuesday? I will not do that. You have your KPI, work with your KPI and give us results. So that's what we've been able to do. And this is clearly stated. So it means that everybody knows what to do. Now, because of this hybrid thing, what has also happened is the leave days are no longer 25 working days, 30 working days. Now you can begin to see you're actually eligible for 60 working days. But of course, you know, there are terms and conditions attached to 60 working days. And that thing again has happened is the culture before was you have to be seen working. You know, an email is sent by 7 p.m. and you're responding. Hello, who is in the office? Like seriously, please, who is in the office by 9 p.m.? So that was good then, but at the end of the day, did it make the staff, did it make the team members productive? I don't think so. It rather it pushed them to burnout. So if I send you an email by 5, I expect you could just quickly send a note or you need to respond. But by 6:37, I'm not going to send you an email that late because I know you have a life outside work. So what we've done is eradicate. I don't maybe I shouldn't use the word eradicate, but what we've done is cut down. Yes, you work from home or you work from office, but you have that standard of time where you operate. So we will not come in and say 24/7, you have to be online, you have to be on your system and all of that. No, we're just going to be encouraging mediocrity. So as much as possible, except it's an emergency, and the staff would have been informed ahead of time. Now, look, we have a project, we have an RFP that is time bound. Of course, everyone knows you need to, you need to create some time or just make some sacrifice. You'll be informed ahead of time, or something just pops up. Then we can begin to go into the non-working hours. Let's past 6, past 7, depending on the time zone. But 24/7 availability is not encouraged. We don't want burnout. That's coming to the workplace every day. We don't want burnout. You need to rest. You need to rest. You need to rest because so that tomorrow, when speaking with the customer, when sending an email, when creating a document, that person is making less mistakes. And what we've seen so far is we've had people feel like they were being seen, they were being heard, and their feelings are actually taken into consideration. And so now you can have a staff member come in and actually share something personal with you. Like, okay, I need to take the day off. Now you don't need to explain to me. For a lot of time, because we've relaxed the environment. So they actually tell you why they're taking that day off. They tell you, and for me, I'm like, wow, you guys are enjoying. I couldn't have done this in the early days because it's unheard of. In the early days, what's mental health? You keep it like one of my people, one of my doctors here said, it's not something people want to talk about. It's not even workplace that. But now we have mental health awareness day. Now we have workshop in which an email is sent and everyone comes in. It could be a physical event where we also introduce exercises. We also introduce teamwork, that bonding exercises, just stuff to just distress. I mean, sometimes you can just come in and we're just hanging out. We're not really talking about work. We're talking about how we can do things better. Nobody's putting anybody under pressure. Nobody's asking, what's your target? What did you do? Why didn't you do this? And all of that. Everyone you could just even sometimes it's even online. And it's amazing. Like sometimes I take a step back and I'm like, are we really laughing? Are we really having a moment? This is virtual. And it's really taking a lot of getting used to. But I think I like what it's doing for us at the workplace and among team members.
Wow, that's very interesting. A lot to learn. A lot to learn from your submission. A lot to learn from it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So one next question goes to Mr. Chris. Mr. Chris, as a leader, how do you work to break the stigma surrounding mental health in your organization or industry?
Okay, so that's a tough one. So again, I'll share a few things I've been able to implement within the period of experience and all of that. I think number one is your personal posturing towards any mental health situation you identify. So, as a leader, I think Doc mentioned it, that it is very critical that you lead by example. So let's give an example. If we are going for a project and or an assignment, and there's somebody who looks a bit off, if I use off, that is, we are identifying that mentally maybe the person is not in a good mood or good shape, you know, and then like I think it was Daniel who mentioned it, the person has been gone ahead to kind of, because you've announced your open door policy, the person has been able to tell you this is what I'm going through. I believe strongly that you should be able to guard and guide that information you've received, and also you know avoid, sometimes we forget ourselves, and then we pass certain comments, we say certain things that ends up making the person bruised, I mean disappointed, and which eventually will now impact the team's posturing towards the individual. So I'm saying that it starts with you as the leader. You should be able to display a posturing of that not being the stigma towards someone who within your team has been or is being affected with a mental situation. um Number two, I would say, is also to one of the things I've also done in my leadership experience is creating a certain culture within the team. I'm sure maybe somebody might touch on that later, but there should be a culture where, you know, like I said, it's possible to dwell around professionalism, but also to bring in a little family. I know people will say when you bring that in, it sometimes, the excess of it, but there's the benefit of it, the social environment where we are able to embrace each other's weakness, so that if there is a situation where somebody is down or, very easily, instead of the stigma, instead of it becoming an awkward moment, you rather have warmth, you rather have people, showing genuine concern and wanting to bring back the energy, contribute to reviving, if you call it so, the mood or mental state of that person. So I would take it from there. Two major things for me. One, your commitment as a leader to say no to stigma. And then number two, also creating a certain awareness within the team. Not only so, but creating a culture that says no to stigma, and rather saying let's help each other when there's a concern, when you notice this. I mean, sometimes the person might not even be able to talk to you as a leader, but because of that strong culture, that little family thing, the person is able to come to you and say, oh, today this lady has just, this is what has happened to him or her, and boss, can you address it in this way? It's really worked for me. So briefly, because we have a lot talking about, those are the two major things I would talk about in terms of handling or breaking the stigma when it comes to um, mental health. I nearly added one, but let me leave it here because we have very limited time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So what I really love, I love all that you said. The one that has stuck with me a lot is, as a leader, saying no to the stigma. As a leader. So as a leader, that means you do your best to prevent or to reduce, and if possible, prevent that from happening at your end. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Chris. So my next question goes to Mr. Victor. Mr. Victor, Please, how do you create a safe space for open dialogue on mental health issues in your organization?
Right. Thank you once again. I must say that, creating that space for, if I am clear in my mind with regards to the question, I would say one of the key things will be recognition of diversity within the workspace, ensuring that everybody is recognized as bringing something of value to the table, and then providing that enabling environment for them to air their views, to contribute to discussions, and be able to bring innovative ideas on board. And the leader's own posture, as somebody mentioned earlier. Within my space, what I do is when a task is to be performed, I use what has been largely described as or known as mission command or mission leadership, where you spell out clearly what needs to be done and why it has to be done. And then you leave the space for the team members to brainstorm and come back for discussions on the ways to approach and deliver that particular task in question. And I believe that through that, you give people opportunity to exercise their, natural intelligence and be able to innovate and be able to contribute more meaningfully. So it is the case that when the result I have seen over the period in all my operations is that the things that you, the leader, you may not have thought of is what will be brought on board, and you get surprised. And the other part of it is when you are not there, you will definitely not be there all the time. When a task is at hand and is being executed, the team members are able to innovate, knowing very well where the destination is, why they are doing what they are doing. So they are able, when they meet any roadblocks or any challenge, they are able to, think through the challenge and come up with very innovative responses. And it will amaze you what they will be able to achieve in your absence. But where you don't create that opportunity for people to think or to contribute, and it is about this is what must be done, this is how it must be done, it makes people rigid and they become very apathetic and may not be able to contribute meaningfully. So, back to my space, what I believe is that create the environment where people will feel free to contribute meaningfully. And by that, at any point in time, they feel fulfilled. They have that sense of belonging. Any point in time, even away from work, they are thinking through what they can do to promote the cause of business. And so that is one of the things that or some of the things that I do. Let's also quickly take note of the fact that there are generational nuances or dichotomies within the workspace today. And so in creating this kind of environment to promote greater mental health, we need to also recognize the strengths and weaknesses of the diverse generations within the workspace. Talk about generation, the Gen Zs, as we are talking of, or as they are popularly known, and everybody is talking about their work culture and all that. If a leader is not careful and is not conscious of these things, what will happen is that you will measure them with your generational, work culture, and you may end up demoralizing them because whatever they also have, it means a lot because they are operating within a certain geo-economic space, and technology is driving everything. As Uber said, Melody said, it is not. This is not the time to insist that everybody comes to work, brick and mortar space. We are seeing you present. But this generation, if you give them that space to even work remotely, they feel more, flexible in their approach to work and they deliver more. I think Melody alluded to that. that this is not about seeing everybody all the time at the workplace. So that's what I'll say. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So my next question goes to Lady Melody. What role does resilience play in leadership? And how can leaders cultivate resilience without compromising mental health?
Okay, so it does play a big role because it's about developing the capacity to bounce back from difficulties. And for us, I mean, this doctor just mentioned the Gen Zs, the Gen Zs, the millennials, particularly the millennials. It's something that everyone just likes, put on this facade, this and every like life is good, everything is going on, and then just a little thing and they've broken down. So really, it's now up to the leaders to how high are you in terms of your emotional intelligence quotient. If this leader is, I don't, the word is not good, but if this leader has emotional intelligence quotient, he's able to observe the team members, observe the subordinates, and you would also know what level or what volume of work that you can give this person, that this person can carry effectively without breaking down or without coming to overwhelm. But if this is not observed, you just keep on. A lot of times, which happens, you have your JD, but you know how it is, you're expected to deliver, and in some cases, over deliver. So, a lot of times, this person may not want to come out and say, oh, this is a lot. The person just wants to make everybody happy, keep everybody happy. The person is going to break down, going to break down. But if we already have a work environment that fosters collaboration, that fosters the need to be seen and heard, I am emphasizing on this because we've had so many situations where you just come to work, just be a robot, do your thing, and let's go. Just come to work, just do your thing, and let's go. And at the end of the day, you're having staff members who just operate on the route. They just, okay, this is just what they want me to do, and I'm just there. And after that, I go. There's no loyalty. I'm just there for my salary. So anything people are saying, it just goes into one ear and comes out. But when we create an environment that allows people to be seen, people to be heard, we reduce the level of toxicity, we manage the office politics, generally we manage the work environment. You're going to be having people who become stars in the next 6 months, 1 year. Apart from just sales target, you're going to be seeing people who are being subconsciously groomed. You can beat your chest and say, oh, you know what, I have somebody. You know what, this person can go out and represent me. Now we are seeing situations whereby the leader does not have to be there all the time. He doesn't have to be there all the time. But if he didn't take his time to develop these staff, these team members, he's going to be there. He's gonna have to divide himself into 10 just to meet up with the engagement because he's not sure if Mr. A or Miss B can truly represent me, if Mr. A or Mr. B can truly represent the culture, the values of the organization. He's going to be second guessing himself. So, in terms of resilience, please, dear leaders, let's cultivate this. Dear leaders, let's keep the work environment clean of toxicity, clean of undue stress. Sometimes I think it's also a way of saying, "Oh, let's be sure they are working. Let's make sure they are working," and then you just come pump. Ah, what's the time frame for delivery? Or set impossible targets. There's no resilience there. It's pure burnout. Is The guy is here, tomorrow he's out. He's looking for the next. He's looking he's looking for the next place he can hop to, and and then you are now left with a gap. You are now left with a high cost of recruitment. You are now left with jobs because you can't do everything yourself. And of course, is the company going forward, or is the company just stuck in one place? Would you be happy? And how fast would the growth be? So for me, resilience is key. Leaders take note. Leaders look into your team members. Look at them beyond just the robots. Let me put it that way. Beyond just I pay your salary. No, work is beyond I pay your salary. If they don't feel like they have a personal stake, and that means if they don't feel that you are genuinely interested in their welfare, that in their men, some people don't even like to talk about it. I know, but I happen to know, a leader in this same financial sector who just comes in and tells everyone we're doing half day today, this week, and they pick a day that Thursday or Friday. And trust me, by the weekend, these guys are I like to use the word gossiping on WhatsApp, exchanging. They're happy. When emergencies happen at work, they are able to stand up. They won't break. When a customer throws a tantrum, because customers will throw tantrums, when they throw tantrums, they can stand. They will defend the company. They're not going to shift or say, please, this is how it is. Okay. No, they will stand. They won't say anything negative about the company. They will find a way to pacify the company, to pacify the customer, and then come back and tell you, like, this is what's happening. They will give you genuine feedback from customers. And that's the reason why we need to be resilient, not just as leaders, but make sure that we have had a way to impact. And that's why it goes beyond the HR. Every manager, every team lead, everyone needs to be involved. Or a lot of times, we just leave it to the HR. HR will only do her best. You just come and just give you one mental awareness day, or just drop one PDF. I'm sorry, but I mean that's what happens in some cases. And then assume that everybody reads it and then we go. No, now we need to be more involved. Look beyond the salary, look beyond the moving targets, look into them as human beings, let them feel seen and actually heard, and put in principles that would encourage, rest, encourage mental health relaxation. Some of these people, they actually on high BP meds. Some of these people have to take medications to help them sleep, and that's not too good, both for them as a person and for the company in general.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lady Melody. You've said it all. In fact, you've said it all. We are about to go on a very short break, after which we'll return to the studio. Yeah, you're welcome back. So my next question goes to Mr. Christian. Mr. Christian, please, how do you think leadership's role in supporting mental health will evolve in the next 5 to 10 years?
Okay, so thank you once again. Thank you for the beautiful, very good coordination. Um, I think I'll draw again from the previous submissions. In the next 5 to 10 years, like Doc mentioned, we would have to, every leader would have to really adjust to managing the different generations I mean, that one is, I don't know whether it's the next 5 to 10 years. For me, it's even now. And it's a lot of work because you are looking at different perspectives, all of that. So that will be my background. But I think that when it comes to mental health, some of us will have to be looking at a lot more detailed skill acquisition. For now, we all are using our, what I call it. If I was in church, I would say we are all led by the Spirit, and we are trying to do what we want to do. But I think we need to move into gaining some, skills, like the way we go to school and learn, our MBAs and all of that. We might have to pick up something in the area of mental health, so that, for example, recently I encountered some detailed course on emotional intelligence, and it really helped, because I knew some bits and pieces of it. But I think that that's one of the things that every leader will have to look at in the next 5 to 10 years, to make sure we are well abreast and ready for the kind of what I call a mental environment we'll find ourselves, going forward. So one, I'm a skill acquisition. Another is that I think that, again, it might be connected to that, but the approach to leadership would have to change a little bit. When I mean the approach, many of us have been used to, because of a certain generation, we've been used to a certain style of leadership. For example, currently in my team, we have about 90% of those you will call Gen Zs or millennials. And that my training was, when your boss says do this, you do it. Now you have a dispensation where they said we also want to be active contributors to every discussion. So you give an instruction, and sometimes it's coming from a certain quarters. And not only so, interestingly, I don't know if my colleagues on the call have experienced that, but you have them even going to do what they think you would like. And I always say, like a pastor, that was what Saul did. He said he thought that the sheep and the things will be good sacrifice for them. And we are saying, no, this is not what MD says we want. So again, we'll have to relook at our leadership style, and again, I also think that people's skills will have to be enriched, for the leaders. I think it was Melody who mentioned, we can't leave emotional mental health to our departments in charge of, there's that thing now where you just push it to HR, they get the company psychologist. Now you have to get into the game, because it's going to be happening more often than before. Before, we could isolate mental health situations, but now it's becoming more interesting. I would end with saying, we need to do, in the next 5 to 10 years, leaders will have to do a lot of reading and getting ourselves exposed to the realities of the generation we find ourselves in. Because that's another thing. Some people are saying we are from a certain generation, we will stay there. And you either come along or you are not. But the reality is that these are the personnel that you're going to be receiving. And the earlier we adjust to it, the better for us to be able to enjoy a very healthy work life. So summarily, these are a few things I would mention. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you so much. In fact, all too soon, we have come to the end of our program. In fact, in fact, the time has become very short for me. I really wish we can have more time, because clearly our resource persons are very, very loaded, and this time is too short for them to give us all that they have. So we'll
Hello,
speak with
Happy. I
them
wanted to say
again.
something.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yes,
Yes, please.
yeah, sure. So, in with regards to the last question, Reverend answered, right? I
Yes,
want to
please.
say that as leaders, we should know that everything that happens in an organization is as a result of the decisions we make. So
Mm,
leadership
mm,
is causing whatever happens in the organization. And
mm,
as leaders, we should understand ourselves what
mm,
mental health is and what it is to our employees or to our team members to
mm,
better so that we can better assist them whenever we see that any team member is going through a situation where we as leaders would have to support, and that's very critical. Moving on, in the as Reverend said, in the next 5 years, I think we are even there already, because the new
mm,
generation, their mindset is totally different, and
mm,
we will have to understand what mental health is first, and then understand how the generation or the new generation understands what mental health is. Then we can come to a compromise so that whatever actions we take as the cause would have positive effects cascading down on the organization. Thank you.
Thank you
Okay,
so much.
If
just a little bit, please.
Yes, yes,
When
sure.
Mr. Sinclair was talking, and he was very correct when he said we need to scale up in terms of other skills, the people skills, the soft skills. The truth is, we are now the gap between this generation, the generation before the, I think I'm millennia, the generation before the millennia, and then the Gen Z. We are now like the gap, scale up, and so we can speak the same language across this set of workforce. Apart from that, let's encourage collaboration. The leader is dynamic. You can't be static. If you're static, you'll die off or you fade off. And someone new that doesn't know you or doesn't know your achievements, I mean, will be the star. So you need to be dynamic. Then create a kind of mentorship platform at work. Now, we are not saying that you must be the one to directly mentor these people, but by creating that mentorship platform, you're grooming them for leadership. You're grooming the team, this staff, these people, to be able to build resilience, to be able to increase that EQ, the emotional intelligence quotient. You're grooming them, I mean, to be a better version of themselves. And something that we need to do, which I don't know if a lot of companies are doing that, virtual therapy. In fact, I have a lot of my colleagues in diaspora whose organizations are already doing this. You don't have to come into in fact, it's anonymous. The company's paid for it. You don't have to let your company, you can just tell them, oh, you're going for counseling. No one is going to ask, why are you going? What are you going to do? In fact, the staff, they are encouraged to embrace this. And you virtual counseling, you don't even need to go there physically, you don't see the counselor physically, it's done virtually. So that way it takes off a lot of, the staff is able to distress, and the work output, sorry, is better. Thank you.
Thank you
can I
so much.
have can I have the last word, please?
Sure, 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 sure. Interesting. Sure,
All right,
sure, sure.
all points covered. I just want to say that the future of leadership requires all of us to be intentional about building the next crop of leaders, because in our part of the world, it appears intentionality regarding leadership development has not been that, uh, you know, clearly defined in most organizations. Because if you are not intentional about it, you end up just basing placing people in leadership roles based on their academic qualifications or how long they've been in the workspace and all that. So you have to, in the spirit of succession planning, because leaders will not be there forever. For the sake of our organizations, we must be intentional about building, leaders for the future. So, as Melody mentioned, mentorship alone, it's not all about addressing, mental health, but it must also contribute to building the leadership skills of, the staff within the workspace, so that when you are not even there, I call it impactful leadership. So that way after you are gone, or if you like, you can call it generational leadership. Way after you are gone, you will sit somewhere and be proud that indeed this is the impact you have made on the organization you once served. So that will build even organizational resilience. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. In fact, you are all very awesome. Very, very awesome. Thank you so much for the very important lessons that you taught us, very rich experience that you've shared with us. So, our leaders, our listeners, those who were not even able to listen, because everything has been recorded. So, we'll share on all our social media platforms so that every leader, those who are already leaders, those who are aspiring to become leaders, will play and listen and also learn. Thank you so much, Daniel. Thank you so much, Lady Melody. Thank you so much, Christian. And thank you, Victor. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thanks to our viewers also. So until next month, we say goodbye from the Global Leadership Group.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank
Goodbye.
you for having me. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Nice to meet
Bye.
you.
Bye.